that a flying disc has been found.
Faster than light, spaceship of the future.
By direction of the President of the United States, stay in your home.
Is it human or inhuman? Earthly or unearthly?
Born in that swirling inferno of radioactive dust, there is no word to describe them.
We may be witnesses to a biblical prophecy come true.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension?
Is this the human race of the future?
Aliens on the border.
So yeah, I was at the beach this past weekend. And,
Where at?
In Port Aransas.
Did you get any bacteria?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Didn't someone die? Someone like an old dude died.
Several people died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
several like.
And you know, it's funny how people don't listen to it. They're like, yeah, it's fine. You want to go to the beach? Like,
what are you talking about? The flesh thing?
The flesh eating, the FEB.
Oh yeah.
A couple of people died already.
From in Port Aransas?
It's
in the Gulf Coast actually, like Corpus and all that shit.
All the way up until the Gulf Coast and forward.
I heard about the algae that's killing dogs in Austin.
That's crazy.
Oh really?
Lady Bird Lake.
Yeah, Lady Bird Lake. If you like, there was a lady who had talked about her dog was in there, and like they were just fine, everything was cool, and like an hour later they're at a park, and then the dog's legs gave out, and it started panting really hard.
And then it just turned inside out.
Oh no, shit! It just like it collapsed, and they took him to a vet, and found out that that algae, blue algae or some shit like that, it gives off a like a neurotoxin, and it just
it targets dogs.
It does it really target dogs specifically?
Blue algae.
Well, yeah,
blue algae. So yeah, man, a lot of interesting happens over this past weekend. If you guys are tuning in, this is episode 106. The Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy / the Clinton body count
/ ask us any questions.
Yes / live interaction with y'all. What's up? What's going on? Roger, say hello.
Scoochie, bro. I mean,
hey.
No way.
Whoa. He can't be original, dude.
Nah, he can't.
He just can't.
And then we have Showtime comedian Kermit the Frog. Whoa, aka Aaron Suarez. What's going on, people? What's going on? No, but real shit though, Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
That's something that happened. That's something that definitely happened.
Do you remember what you were doing when you found the news?
Yeah, I was waking up to you tagging me saying, Aaron, yo, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. What is
it? Me? That's you. Yeah, bro. What
dude, what's up, dude?
How are you? Are you on drugs? Oh,
no, I just turned mine off. Well, it was his. Anyways, yeah, dude. It was fucking. I don't know. It wasn't surprising.
It wasn't surprising, but it was surprising at the same time.
Yeah,
that was so blatantly out there. I think was
right.
The thing because it's like so close to that. Like, yeah, I think it's more like a state of like panic for sure.
It seemed like a setup. Like it seemed like, I guess why I'm saying it wasn't really a surprise. It's because it did seem like a setup, you know?
Yeah, man. It was just like everyone and anyone that knew what the fuck was going on with the Epstein thing, they were all saying like, man, they're gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, give us a little brief
synopsis?
insight. Yeah, synopsis on like what the.
So for those of you guys that don't know or don't watch the news, which I'm actually one of them, I just happen to know because
you watch everything else.
Yeah, besides the news. And so anyways, Jeffrey Epstein is a person that has a lot of money that no one really knows why he has a lot of fucking money. He has several connections to some high level ass people in politics, in tech, and just the overall very rich, powerful people. He has connections with them, and
the money they're saying that it comes from a lot of blackmailing
and sex trafficking.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. Prostitution of underage people, or I guess underage children, citizens, whatever.
Citizens.
Yeah, it's not
they weren't underage illegals. They were underage citizens.
Yes, and no, so it's not even funny, but it's fucking crazy. But anyway, so Jeffrey Epstein, I believe 2008 was the first time they actually brought up charges against him for soliciting sex from an underage prostitute, as well as like child trafficking charges. Now,
he got away with that shit.
Essentially, he was given what is called like a sweetheart deal, where they're like, "Hey, man, slap on the wrist," and So he has this island that was fucking St. James Island is what it was called. A lot of people referred to it in the area as the Pedophile Island, and essentially all sorts of debauchery and fucking wild shit would take place there.
So Dagoberto says get good. I don't even know what that means. Hey, if you guys are going to comment, I'm not saying you to not interact or anything like that, but if we're going to comment, we are moderating the comments today, so we are interacting with you guys.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different stream than we usually go for.
Right.
We don't usually acknowledge the crowd or anybody commenting because it kind of throws out the discussion.
But today we want to talk to you.
Today we want to talk. So if you guys want to comment, contribute to the conversation, mention anything,
Drop
ask
some
questions.
Shit,
if you have anything additional to put, just let us know.
Yeah, and so that was back in 2008. These charges came up. He essentially did like 13 months at a prison where he checked in every evening to spend the night and then left the premises to conduct his business as usual and just came back and checked in. That went on for 13 months. Done. Disappears again. Continuously keeps, doing the whole pedophile.
Awesome life, bro. Okay, again. You're gonna comment something just like
I don't know what's up, Dago.
Who's just Dago?
He's a homie of mine.
Okay, cool.
That's cool. But
hey, what's up, Dago?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah,
we're talking about the
Jeffrey Epstein
and the Clinton body counts in general. So if you guys want to comment on that or anything, whatever, I'm down to just fucking make it like loose. But
it's loose. It's an overall topic.
Yeah. That's how we're starting off the topic, at least with Epstein.
Right, and so lo and behold, I'm not entirely sure what the fuck. Oh yeah, so the Miami Herald brought up like a whole expose on this phenomena again recently, which is what brought the whole thing to light once again, and he was fucking arrested on similar charges which he was previously, but this time, however, was going to testify and incriminate several of the people that took place in this. Now, he had a private jet known as the Lolita Express that kept flight logs of all the people.
Yeah, first of all, what a fucked up name, right?
Right,
for the plane, the Lolita Express.
Like that's a whole category of fucking
of child like porn and stuff like that.
So
right?
the term comes from the book.
Right.
What was it called? I forget the name.
It's like a manga, right?
No, it's not a manga. No. It's a book. It's about a
young girl
who's getting seduced by an older guy or whatever, because it's like teaching him stuff. It's a crazy story. But anyway,
that sounds wild.
But it's also slang for underage.
For some CP,
CP.
some cheese pizza.
Yeah. Right. There was some pizza, all right.
Right. No, and in all seriousness, though, so, there's a lot of speculation on what went on. There's actually video footage out there on YouTube of Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, I don't know.
It was in the Virgin Islands, right?
Somewhere on there, dude.
Yeah, it was part of one of the Virgin Islands.
And that area is like in what is called the hotbed of like human trafficking in that area.
Really?
Yeah. So like a lot of sex slaves and everything get like shipped to there from there. A lot of brokering goes on.
Here's where it's gonna get a little bit tricky,
right?
And what I feel is gonna happen, even though Epstein is dead, I mean they still have his logs. Someone still has his logs, so I have a feeling that something's gonna happen. Like, but we don't know where the fuck they're at.
So the day of his death, or I want to say it was either the Saturday that the shootings happened, which was not this past Saturday, the previous Saturday.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
There was some unsealed court documents that came out that named or dropped names of some like really, really fucking powerful people.
One of the main names was a Clinton campaign financier.
Yeah. Also, the fucking prince of UK or whatever. What's his name?
And let's not forget our president.
So these people were
DT.
Were like implicated on these things, and then the shootings happened.
Right, and then everything was diverted away.
Actually,
from
that. if you want to get in a little more, like if you want to get deeper on that, it's when the initial case had started up. Right. That's when the Area 51 memes happened.
Yep.
So everybody has the idea of that. That if there is a thing to kind of like a mass like idea to like suppress information or at least steer the topic away from a certain thing, there's always a fucking tragedy or like a high level event that kind of steers things the other way, whether they stir
point the mic a little bit further down to you. I don't know what's going on over here. I'm getting a little bit of a
what?
I'm sorry, keep going. There you
how
go.
about there?
Yeah, it's good.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Cool.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you're good. I can hear myself just fine on this thing, but I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so there's always like some weird, events that happens to steer like the public's ideas away from what's currently in the news.
Yeah,
and it happens a lot. Actually.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
really weird that that things like that, like they end up correlating. So yeah, man. The Epstein thing. So for those of you that don't know, as Josh was mentioning, what was it? Saturday? It was Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Yeah,
a man who was on suicide watch,
right?
To be and under surveillance,
100%.
To be ready to like testify and kind of basically go over all the people who were like implicated on these court documents. Initially, was set to be on trial and was found dead by suicide.
Yeah, it's kind of like a movie, like when a mobster kills a witness off. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Like, that's exactly how it sounds like.
Like in the first Godfather, where he's fucking in the hospital, and then all of a sudden the son shows up. He's like, "Hey, where the fuck are the cops?" And like, "There's no fucking cops."
Dead man can't talk.
Yeah, he's like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here," and they get him the fuck out of there. But they didn't get Epstein out of there. Now, one of the crazy things about that is that like normally most prisons have like standard operating procedures. Everything at that point was just kind of discarded. So
free range and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, man. So like they normally do like their checkups, their rounds on every inmate, not just Epstein himself.
Especially suicide watch.
Yeah, like and they do checkups like every 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes. So they'll send a fucking patrol. Hey, just check in. They have a camera that apparently malfunctioned inside of the
all
cell.
those things started changing up. The idea, the camera. So he was like the surveillance was spotty.
Yeah,
the camera was malfunctioning.
Yep.
Right. Another thing was he had been placed off of suicide watch in that window apparently.
Previous 1 week prior to this happening, which I think happened the day of the shootings, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a little bit after or before, but they found him in his cell, which he shared with another fucking person, in a fetal position with like marks across his neck and shit, indicating, attempting to hang himself or whatever the fuck. So he was subsequently placed on suicide watch for approximately like about a week to two, if I'm not mistaken. And then he was taken off, and they were just like, well, we don't need to watch him no more.
Yeah.
Gotta get that hitter. But again, like all of that, with all the things that were potentially about to come out on this fucking, I guess, pedophile ring at this point is what you can call it, or child trafficking, sex trafficking thing, would have very much caused like some sort of fucking uproar, I feel.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the same time, not.
You don't think so?
It's because the thing is, man, that like it's kind of if it wouldn't have been this way. Whoa, shit, that's my belt, sir. If it wouldn't have been, Jesus. If it wouldn't have been this way, and if it wouldn't have if this wouldn't have like transpired the way it did, the first thing that would have happened was everybody that was supposedly implicated would have just gotten out of it. I don't think anybody would have ever seen any actual like real consequences aside.
So like if he wouldn't have gotten suicided, you feel that due process would have not really done anything? And
absolutely not. When has it ever, dude? I mean, yeah, the same thing that like
you want to know something else?
Raymond Cabrera said Viper suicide Epstein. Suicided.
Viper suicided. Yeah, explain, Raymond.
Yeah, elaborate, please.
So, no, it's. I mean, you think about it, dude. Like everything from like the whole like Russia collusion stuff that was going on or whatever. Even when
which is actually fake.
Right. Okay.
That's fake news.
whether it's fake or not, when
it's 100% fake.
It's a distraction.
When the director of what was it? Was it DOJ? I don't even remember if it was DOJ or not. But
the FBI.
Okay, so FBI. What was his name? Comey? Was it Comey?
Yes.
Who, when he got up there, his first thing was his first thing that he said was this is not in any way, shape, or form my recommendation to the jury. I am not saying that he shouldn't be indicted, but I'm saying that as of right now, in any normal circumstance, a normal citizen would have been indicted. And that's like kind of a bullshit response when you say some shit like that. Like, hey, we're not saying you shouldn't fucking pursue this guy under, felony charges, but if this was a normal person, 100% you should.
Like, yeah. Now, so the fucking crazy part about that is that, like, I honestly didn't watch the whole thing, and what I did watch, however, was Jimmy Dore break it down with like another very well reputed fucking journalists, and they talked about what was actually said throughout the whole thing, and they show the clips. So when it boiled down to it, they asked him like several easy questions to set him up for shit, right? Like, so the dossier or whatever, the Steele dossier, which was the evidence that got them the FISA fucking warrant to be able to like tap Donald Trump's phone and a lot of people in his campaign. It was based off of that. But the person and the company that produced the evidence in the Steele dossier was funded by the fucking Hillary Clinton campaign.
Yeah.
So there was that first and foremost. And then when they asked him like, who is the company that conducted the investigation for the Steele dossier, which was something that is like very, like, everyone fucking knows the thing. He's the director of the FBI heading this fucking investigation, which is like an answer he should obviously fucking know. He didn't fucking know the answer to that. And he was like, oh, that's outside of my purview or whatever, which is saying like it's outside of his jurisdiction. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
And that was his response to a lot of shit. Now, ultimately, the conclusion of the report itself, it states that there is no evidence that Russia and Donald Trump colluded to win the fucking presidency.
Election, yeah.
But, and then it states this almost like verbatim, and I'm paraphrasing right now, but it's saying, but I cannot exonerate Donald Trump or whatever. And now that's very misleading, right?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like you're saying there was no evidence that we could find, but there may be. I can't fucking clear him and tell him that he's not guilty, right? Now,
do I have to press something for this to work?
No, just got to move it over.
Yeah.
It just pours out kind of slowly because it's got that filter in it.
Oh,
yeah. And so anyways, like, exonerate is not a judicial term at all. Nobody has the power to exonerate anyone. It's like not something that is a fucking law term at all. Like, no one can say have you been exonerated or anything. Like, there's only two verdicts: guilty, not guilty, right? Like, it's they can't even use that term. So by him putting that there, it misleads everyone, because not everyone is gonna like, instead of the headline reading from CNN or MSNBC saying no evidence was found, it says Donald Trump was not exonerated. Right? So like, that's fucking misleading as fuck.
It's very misleading.
And so they point that out, and they're like, you're purposely misleading this, right? Because if you don't have the power to exonerate, and the director of the Department of Justice granted you full power to do whatever you needed to, and he doesn't have the power to exonerate, why are you saying that you can't exonerate him? That's not something that is a fucking legal term.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in their like
realm of in their fucking jargon or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's not something that they can do. It's literally not a legal term that any person that holds a position in like a law firm, what have you, they cannot exonerate anyone. Like, it's not a thing that fucking lawyers or anyone is able to do. Right?
And let me ask you, speaking of misleading, I went down a YouTube hole because of all this shit that's going on.
Right.
I was saying something that all these shootings that are happening, right, one after the other, is to take off the focus on Epstein and those files and stuff like that. You know,
that's what he
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You as being a big conspiracy theorist, do you think that might have something to do? Like, you know how they say, like, there's a shadow government. They're like, all right, we need to get rid of this stuff, so we got to go do some evil to hide some evil, kind of thing. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's difficult, right? Because there's a lot of pushback for people that are like myself, which although I agree, orientate or like conspiratorially inclined. It's not really a conspiracy theory, because like there's
facts.
Yeah, there's facts. Like, there's shit that the government has done that have been declassified. Fucking Freedom of Information Act has pulled out these documents. Like, there was definitely an Operation Northwoods. There was definitely an Operation Mockingbird. There was the Gulf of Tonkin, like, false flag, like a bunch of other things.
Things that have happened for sure before. And actually, we touched on this the last. Was it the last episode?
It was the second one.
The second and last episode that we had. I think it was
with Hoy Nomás. Yeah.
We talked about this where the there were reports of like that the shooters were in like body armor and were like executing military
in El
tactics.
Paso specifically.
And they were saying that the reports that were being put out initially by the news did not match what the witnesses were saying.
And you can find this video link, because Justin had sent it to me, but there's literally one of the witnesses of the shooting is saying that exactly that. Like she was like, no, there's this, like 2 to 3 people with like a ski mask, relatively tall, all black, like rifles shooting people.
Yeah,
and they
not
were
the fucking one person.
And then and then they were saying that
the another one that has like a similar thing was the Parkland shooting, the one that happened in the school in Florida, right? So a lot of other students and even teachers gave a similar testimony on that point, to where one of the students stated that she saw the alleged shooter in front of her not shooting anyone while people were being shot elsewhere. And then another testimony from like another teacher that was saying she saw the shooter dressed up in like SWAT type or like tactical type of apparel, fucking all this other shit. The Parkland police officers or the sheriff's county department, whatever, did stand down for like 30 minutes after like the shooting began and everything, and didn't step in until everything stopped. Like, that's real. People are getting like sued for that. People have lost their jobs for that, right? And then one of the things that kind of goes back to the whole pedophile thing, to kind of tie back into the whole Epstein case, is when the leak happened back in 2016 of all of Hillary's emails, there was a lot of weird talk about like spirit cooking and all this weird like code talk for like hot dogs and pizza and shit. And
Pizzagate.
Yeah, the whole that's where the whole Pizzagate comes into play, right? But essentially, the I fucking super lost my train of thought with that.
They're harvesting children for their streams.
Essentially, right. Yeah, so they're
so if you want to get like real rabbit hole, dude.
Yes.
The whole, like, you know, so there's always been that talk about like reptilian society and having people that are in here or whatever that are apparently who, and you know what's fucking weird and what actually gives me the fucking creeps is that there's always been talk about this. Like, from the beginning of time, there's been people, whether it's still in the practice in Africa and other places, who believe that copulating with a child
cures thing, and also cures like illnesses and stuff like that. Yeah. I've heard stuff like that.
I heard
even like killing albino children because they're like bad spirits or something, like in Africa.
Right.
And some tribes they kill albino kids because they think it's like a bad omen or shit like that.
So things like that, where they said that they have a sort of like a it freaks me out.
It's gross talking about, because you're talking about
so they believe that there was kind of like some direction to uncover these ideas of like farming children, having like just a sex trafficking ring, but essentially an area or like an underground society that is allowing these like reptilians or people in power or whatever to go and take part in this practice in order to continue living or continue their state of power, whatever it might be. And that's just fucking creepy, dude. So because you think about it,
to kind of like unpack that a bit, there's probably the most prominent figure that, you know, dives like fucking super balls deep into the whole reptilian thing is David Icke.
Yeah.
If you've never heard about this dude, he's like an English dude that
I've heard of him.
And this is for the audience. He's an English dude that does several lectures and conferences all over the world and talks about like the reptilian race and amongst a variety of other subjects, but they're essentially revolving around the idea of the New World Order.
Yeah.
But they stem from an experience that he had in his past. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he was like a broadcaster for sports or something like that. I may be wrong, but it's somewhere in that area. So he would, you know, rub shoulders a lot with some of the higher ups. So he had this experience to where I believe he witnessed literally like someone shapeshift, right? Which is also an experience that Billy Corben of fucking Smashing Pumpkins talks about. And he brought that up on JRE, but didn't really want to say much about that. Anyways, so since that point forward, he's been looking into the idea of reptilians, right? So he has this huge documentary. It's been on YouTube that I fucking watched myself because it's fucking wild.
What is it called?
Damn it, I can't remember right now, but I'll link you up later.
Yeah. I want to watch it.
And essentially, I'm not sure. Again, this is what he's saying on the documentary. I'm not saying that this is facts, but anyway, so they did like an analysis of people's pupils and irises specifically, and they found like a small population of like a huge portion that they got. I think it was like more than several thousands of people. A small percentage of them, which I forget the exact number, but it's like a relatively small percentage had like reptilian irises that are like a slit as opposed to like the actual circle that we normally have, right?
Yeah.
And so there is, if you accept like the traditional evolutionary fucking timeline that we evolved from a common ancestor in the past, even previous to the apes, at some point we still share some DNA to reptilian species, right? So essentially they exist, but they don't necessarily exist within our ability to perceive, because our five senses can only perceive
the whole like spirit realm kind of
exactly
thing.
They can only perceive the physical realm. However, we're all innately have like some of
like that old 80s movies where that guy wear those glasses.
Fuck yeah,
like
They Live. That's a fucking perfect example. If y'all haven't seen They Live, watch
They Live,
it.
yeah,
It's
that's the
fucking
movie.
good. Roddy Piper, what's up?
Yeah, so he just puts on these glasses and he can tell the difference between like this race of people.
Yeah, and then
regular people.
Yeah, there's like the whole movie is really awesome.
Yeah, They Live.
It's just really good. John Carpenter, dope movie. But anyway, so David Icke, he in this documentary he goes and there's several ancient civilizations that all have depictions of gods that are like reptilian like, right? And even in some cultures those gods specifically were like, you cannot create any depictions of our actual likeness, you have to use like other shit, right? So they would hide them like Quetzalcoatl with like the winged serpent and fucking dragons and like in Asia and all that shit, China and all that. And there's this this I think tribe in Africa, I forgot exactly where he interviews like the current chief of it, and they have like a very strong oral tradition where they pass down their stories through like, oral expression, right? Whatever. And they're in the account of the history of that tribe, they have like these masters that are exactly that are the fucking serpent people that they live their source of energy, the way that we consume food and shit to kind of keep ourselves going, food and water and everything. Their source of energy is a specific vibrational frequency that's released by our bodies whenever we're experiencing like fear, sadness, depression, anger, all of that. It creates like a certain vibrational energy that they feed off of. So they've gotten into positions of power around the world to perpetually keep the human race at war, strife, fucking, this economic disparity, all of that. And that's essentially in a nutshell.
Fucked.
That's essentially in a nutshell.
What a weird lizard.
Yeah.
What do your lizards eat? Crickets?
They eat crickets, silkworms.
And your bad energy.
Water.
And babies.
Yeah, they eat babies. Baby crickets, that is.
And when you and your girlfriend fight, they just love that shit. They feed off of that.
Yeah, they tend to grow like 5 to 10 feet tall.
And they try to run for president.
And then we have sex.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, man. So okay, back to the Epstein thing. What do you think would have happened had he not committed suicide?
Honestly, I feel like it would have fucking caused some wild shit.
Yeah.
Even though I feel that their attempt to try and cover this up is so fucking blatant that I feel enough people are gonna be like, wait a fucking minute. Like they're gonna start looking into it, and they're gonna be like, fuck no, we want answers, and they're just gonna like push until they get shit, because there's people out there that are affected by this that are still alive.
Yeah,
that they want fucking okay.
So many powerful people visited that island. Like it's
dude,
been
like a fucking crazy amount. And all right, so I mentioned previously there's actual like drone footage of the island. I forgot the name of the fucking YouTube channel, but anyways,
no one talks either. There's been reporters that get close to the island, and like there's still people working there, and they're like, hey, can we ask you a question? And everyone ignores the fucking people, like the journalists that get close to the island. Isn't that crazy? There's still workers there.
Where do you keep the babies? Nope.
So one of the dude that got the footage of the island, he's flying like a crazy drone, and he does like a super round of the whole fucking island. You get to see like this weird temple thing at the top of one of the mounds.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like, and then like these huge like underground vents for some fucking reason. And he had a video as recent as like July 27th, somewhere around there. So like, this year. So like fucking a couple of weeks back. I saw that last video that he posted, and in his flyover, there's a fucking ambulance on top of the area where there's like underground giant vents, like the size of the door and shit. Giant vents like that, like ventilating something underground. And there's an ambulance parked on top of there. There's no fucking hospital on the island.
What the fuck?
Right. It's fucking crazy. I was like, what? It gave me the creeps, dude. I had no idea what the fuck that was doing there, but it was fucking wild. And I'm trying to remember the name of the channel that put these video ups. It's the name of one of the characters from King of the Hill.
Hank Hill, Boomhauer.
No.
Dale Gribble.
The guy with the glasses and the trucker hat?
Gribble.
That's his name?
Dale Gribble, yeah.
Fuck, okay, it's not him then. But I looked up the dude's name and then a picture of
Bobby Hill.
Picture of one
Dale
of
Gribble for sure.
the fucking...
The one that talks like... No, not that one. Dale Gribble, yeah, the one with pockets in.
What's the dumb one?
The dumb one is...
Does anybody remember the fucking... If you guys are looking into this, can anybody find the name of this YouTube channel and post it on the comments, please? I want to remember.
Right.
But anyways, so the... yeah, man, the footage is wild. And it shows... Like, that's weird. Like, what... I don't know. I don't even know what to make of that.
Yeah. What is it there for?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? And you can see, like, workers and shit just walking around.
You think that gives any validity to like the statements that Jones is always making about how Alex Jones, he's always talking about how they're eating babies and
I mean
the elitist.
Rusty Shackleford. There you go.
That's
not one. Yeah, I know it's not.
No, he's a character from somewhere, but I don't remember his. But yeah, Rusty. Anyway.
Yeah, look, I look up Rusty Shackleford, and then the second most looked up is King of the Hill. Okay. But Rusty Shackleford, that's the name of the guy
channel
from the YouTube. Go check that shit out. Look at the...
Send it to me and I'll post it in here.
Okay. Look at the fucking...
Just send it to the group chat.
Yeah, send it to the group chat and I'll put
because I want to see
post
that
it in the comments.
Like, I think this one's the most recent upload. I can actually post it from here. I have the fucking thing.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So just so you guys know what we're looking at right now, for those of you that just tuned in, because I saw a couple of people tune in and a couple of people tune out. There is there's apparently drone footage from this secret island that was apparently going to be talked about in the whole trial for Epstein.
So
and it's a secret island that apparently there's a lot of like shrouded stuff to it.
Yeah. It has like a temple and shit. Anyway, so the this I'm gonna post the link in the comments. This is the video to the exact video. The link to the video, the exact one where there's a fucking ambulance on the thing.
Right.
Now, if you go to the channel's feed or whatever, there's more and more fucking newer videos of it. But this is the one that I'm telling you about that has the actual fucking, what do you call it? The actual footage of the ambulance and shit being there. And then it's on top of like what you can see is some of the giant fucking ventilation things that are venting something out of underground. And the dude flying the drone is like flying it all over. He follows some of the employees that go to like this one spot that it just disappears under like a lot of foliage and shit.
Yeah.
And underground. And dude, it's fucking crazy.
That temple though.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what's up with that temple. How did it look? Like,
so it's a blue and white striped building that had like a golden round top. And it's weird, dude. They call it a gym, but that's not a fucking gym, bro.
Can you send the link to the messenger? Because I can't click it on the thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me see here. I'm gonna DM it to you.
So for those of you guys listening right now, what do you make of all this?
Cool.
Tell us what your current thought process is on the whole thing, because me personally, and I say this pretty often, but I think actually I think with the more that we interact, the more that we talk about this, the more I'm getting swayed. But I still kind of consider myself a skeptic for a lot of this stuff, because I feel like it's, it's really. I always want to say that it's really easy to say, something happens that it's like coincidental, and that anything can kind of be twisted to make it seem like it's a conspiracy thing, or that something that's a lot deeper underground that we're uncovering or whatever. This was one of the first times, or not one of the first times, the very first time that I felt like, what the fuck was with the whole DNC thing. There was like really no remorse whatsoever for that, and I talk about it very, very, very often.
What's that? What's the DNC thing?
Democratic National Convention.
Yeah, Democratic National Convention. Mm-hmm. When the initial when the 2016 elections were going down, there was the Hillary versus Bernie, right, for the nomination for the Democratic seat, the Democratic Party. to be the candidate for the Democratic Party. There was WikiLeaks, right? WikiLeaks was
Julian Assange,
which is also arrested already, right?
Yeah.
They arrested him.
No. They had indicted him. I'm not entirely sure if they arrested him. They had indicted him.
I had seen him in handcuffs.
He was looking for a place to not be extradited.
Right, because he was fucking limited to the Ecuadorian embassy in the UK or something like that. Right. Like a room about maybe this big and shit. Crazy.
Right. So
dated Pamela Anderson, if I'm not mistaken.
Assange.
Really?
Yeah.
So he
fucking fun fact.
Assange brings this like they leak these records.
Let me pause you right there. So a lot of people, the whole RussiaGate thing stems from that, right? RussiaGate, again, just a brief synopsis. Fucking Trump and Putin collaborated to make sure that Hillary didn't win
the election,
or influence the election, whatever. And that's where the whole Russian collusion thing begins, and it has its stems in there. But they've already verified that the leak of those emails, right, was not from an outside source hack.
Right.
Like it was someone had
intra-campaign,
yeah, like intra-campaign. Now get this. So there was a Hillary campaign worker dude, Seth Meyers. No,
that's the late night host.
Seth Rich. Yeah, that's the fucking. I was like, no, it's not Seth Meyers. Delete that. But Seth Rich, he gets get this. He gets murdered in what they call a mugging at 4 a.m. outside of his house in Washington D.C. But they don't take anything at all. He gets shot in the back as he's walking into his home, and that's it. Like, Seth Rich is done. A lot of people.
It's not really a mugging.
This is one of those things where it's like they don't do it, and you know what? I'm gonna say it's kind of smart, because the thing is that I think a lot of people like me who would see these things and go, if they were really that good, if they were really that entrenched in the thing, they would make a much better job at hiding it. Right,
but they can't because the internet.
But they can't. Because of that, and also just because they don't give a shit, and they want to be able to make it an appearance of like, hey, you know what? You guys think there's a conspiracy? We're also going to influence that a little bit too. Make it think that you guys have a conspiracy going on. That way, there's a much bigger truth of the stuff that's going on that people aren't going to believe.
You know what? Nobody is saying. The dude that shot shit up in Ohio, right? Was like a fucking left-leaning Antifa person.
Right.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was a Democrat. All that shit.
He almost like Peter Griffin.
Really? I don't know.
From the Dayton, was Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah, right.
Right after Toledo.
I don't know.
Is in Toledo? That's what Trump said. He's like,
and I'm not here saying that those shootings didn't happen. People fucking died. It was crazy. All I'm saying is that a lot of the facts out there are being ignored, and the mainstream media is pushing fucking hard. Like the whole white supremacist Republican, all this shit. But look into the second shooter, dude, from Dayton, Ohio. Motherfucker was like Antifa, Democrat, left-leaning extremist and shit. And
it's weird because sometimes I think that it's kind of like a game of chess between both sides. Where it's like you have one who's like
but there's only one person playing chess.
Right.
The fucking shadow.
Yeah, they're both radicals. At the end of the day, they're both fucking radical.
All right, so back to the
Epstein.
To the DNC thing, because I was talking about that. So okay, dude, get this.
The elitist.
You have Bernie. Bernie is the one who.
Did you see him on Joe Rogan?
I haven't watched it yet. No, but
you should.
He's gonna expose aliens, bro. We vote for him, bro.
That'd be great.
Raymond sent a message on the secret Giggle Gang chat.
Oh, hey, so somebody just we'll get to your question right now. Chetty, thanks for tuning in. So just so you guys, so we can wrap this up for the DNC thing, dude. So this is the thing. Oh, dude, like for me, it was like the most infuriating fucking thing because Bernie was my initial candidate, dude. Bernie was the one that I was thinking like, yeah, you know what? And I knew he wasn't gonna fucking win just because he was so good at like, talking to people who are like our age, right? And I knew that it wasn't gonna happen because a lot of people just they what's the fucking name? They
deplatformed him.
Yeah. Well, okay, so get this. He was the only one actually projected to win versus Trump, right? And there was a lot of stuff that was going on in DNC initially that was going on that they were talking about how, oh no, if you did this, you'd divide the party too much, and so on and so forth. These emails get out, dude, and the emails show that
Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz had been emailing with somebody.
Real quick, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was at the time the head of the Democratic National Convention
of the
DNC.
Right. So Debbie Wasserman was emailing somebody in Clinton's campaign, and they were basically colluding to
media blackout Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, not just media blackout, but they were looking to create stories about Bernie and about how he's not exactly, you know, they're the ones that initially kind of like pushed to talk about how he's got like several states and stuff like that. Like he's got like you know, he doesn't live the humble life that everybody thinks. He makes more money than people are showing, or whatever, so on and so forth. And they said specifically they don't want him as their candidate.
Yeah.
So they were helping out Clinton campaign in order to kind of, you know, not dethrone, but just not give him a platform.
Yeah.
And or delegitimize his claims. So as they were doing that, that the email comes out, Debbie Wasserman gets out of the chair, obviously, because you can't fucking do that shit. You can't collude.
Second in command, Tulsi Gabbard steps down because of all of this.
Right.
She's like, I'm not fucking having this.
Right. So
shit.
Yeah.
So she gets up, right, and then get this, dude. Immediately afterwards, what does the fucking Clinton campaign do? They give her an honorary chair.
Yep. As part of their
Debbie
fucking
Wasserman becomes
operation.
one of the honorary chair of the Clinton campaign, as if you couldn't make it more fucking blatant. So
Jesus.
So they already have all these like collusions and people like doing that, and that's when the whole like Russia thing came out, and it was a huge distraction because it was also like, hey, look at Russia and the way they were trying to influence the campaign to hide the fact that we were trying to influence the fucking campaign.
Right.
You know, and that to me was like the biggest like hey, you know, pay no attention to man behind the curtain kind of thing, because it was like, what the fuck, man? How are you going to actively suppress your own, like one of the own like candidates from the running for your fucking candidate seat in favor of Hillary? And you already knew, dude. You knew at some point or another, if you've ever followed any form of fucking history, that Clinton was always going to get away with something, and she got away with that, and nobody fucking gave it any mind. Everybody's just like, oh no, but she supports women's rights. So, yeah, but
We gotta have the first woman fucking president. Like,
no, so
motherfucker.
All right, so let's get to Chelly's comment. Chelly says, is there like a solid death certificate floating around, though? If any of you bros know?
I don't know yet, and I've already heard several crazy things where...
they're pending, what, an autopsy? Or what are they pending?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I wanted to jump into that.
Mm-hmm.
So the person that's going to be in charge of this dude's autopsy, fucking get this, is one of the pathologists that was on the JFK Warren Commission.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like the dude that was like, yeah, dude, the magic bullet, essentially, is going to be conducting this autopsy.
Oh,
so
no.
what do you think is going to come from that?
Whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I've heard the theory already been thrown out there that like, okay, so after
it was
they
an
found
accident.
Him,
so there's one of the things that they're saying, right?
Right, and besides that, like they found him collapsed.
Killed himself.
Yeah, they found him collapsed on the jail cell floor. They drove him to a hospital, wheeled him into the ER, whatever. Tried to revive him for about an hour. Declared him dead at around 7:38 in the morning.
Yeah,
New York time, which would be 6:30 our time here in Texas. And that was that. Now there's a lot of fucking people on the Chan, on everywhere, saying that he wasn't dead. And when they wheeled him in there, they did the old switcheroo, disappeared his ass to the witness protection.
Oh shit. That would be fucking nuts, dude. That would be fucking nuts. Holy shit.
The whole switcheroo.
That would be insane, bro. Holy shit.
I mean, he had the money to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
No, not just that.
And the connections, bro.
And the connections.
Not just that, but maybe maybe it's like something where they're like, hey, we know you're about to get like in the shit and you're about to implicate a shit ton of people. So maybe the fucking good guys got the upper hand and fucking like, hey, you know what? Let's just kill you real quick, but not for real.
And then they bust him out later. And he's like, guess what, bitch? The trial's still on.
Yeah, dude.
That would be fucking dope.
Oh my God, I'm so pumped. I hope that's real, dude.
That would be fucking wild.
If you really think about it, they do it all like, well, I don't know if they still do it now, but I mean, when we were like finding Hussein and Bin Laden, there was always doubles that they would kill off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not? Why wouldn't they do that for
Bin
Epstein?
Laden was a fucking CIA operative, dude.
Was gonna say, so just to answer your question, can you look that up, dude? Can you see there's an actual death certificate?
Let me look into that.
So he's looking into it right now, but as of right now, from our knowledge at the moment, we don't know if there's a death certificate. We do know that they're waiting an autopsy, And Josh just dropped a bomb that I hadn't heard yet about how there's a possibility that Epstein was not dead when he arrived at the hospital, and that they switched him out with somebody who was like a cadaver or whatever.
Yeah.
And there is a possibility that he may still be alive under witness protection, which would be insane.
Can't find anything, dude. I'm looking up Jeffrey Epstein death certificate. Top stories: jail staff failed to follow protocols before Jeffrey Epstein's death.
Yeah,
sale,
sure they did.
All that other shit. Dead
so
by a
to
parent
answer your
suicide.
question, no, there's
nothing yet. At least nothing
yet
on here. I haven't dug around on Chan or anything, so I'm not entirely sure.
Cool. But, any other questions, guys? If you guys want, we're gonna continue doing this for a little bit.
Dude, I didn't think about that. That's so interesting. Like you said, like he had the power to throw anyone under the bus. He had the connections. He definitely has the money. He got away the first time with a sweet deal, like you said. What
Sweetheart deal.
Sweetheart deal, which is like 6 months probation. I think it was something like that.
6 months probation, 13 months of doing that, where you check into jail at night.
And
then
Chetty says he's probably on that island, if not another.
Right? Yeah. Fuck, dude. I don't know.
Well, no one wants to talk in that. There's still people. Okay. Well, here's the thing. There's still people in that island.
Yeah.
Working there.
Go to the link I posted in the
Why
comments.
is there people there? If he's
I don't know.
Dead?
They're just fucking collecting a paycheck, bro.
Yeah, from like I said, from who? If Epstein's dead, there has to be a lawyer that comes in and just cuts everything off.
Let's talk more about this island. What is known to happen there? Is there any?
At this point, with Jeffrey Epstein dead, we're never gonna know for certain. A lot of speculation took place there, as far as like for sure, there were reports of like wild sexual acts, in some cases even like ritualistic acts.
Eyes wide shut
type of shit. You guys have not seen that great Stanley Kubrick movie?
He would get girls to go to high schools and recruit other girls.
Yeah.
And they would be like, "Hey, you want me?" And all these girls were like from trailer parks and stuff like that, like low income households or whatever. And they would go to massage him and whatnot, and he would pay him off with a bunch of fucking money.
So one of the things that Eddie Bravo, aka Edgy Bra, always brings up whenever this subject comes up is this next.
Look into it.
Yeah, and I had to look into it for him, but he always says this statistic: 800,000 people, like children, a year roughly go missing.
Yeah, that's a fucking crazy statistic.
And I just Googled that right now, and it comes up. That's the first fucking thing that comes up from ABC News. It is a May 2013 article, but 800,000 children go missing, right? And then he goes this whole argument thing was like, well, a lot of those people, like, they're found or whatever the fuck, but not all of them, right?
Yeah.
Like even if it's just fucking 10%, like 80,000 kids. Like
that's why I was fucking Team Latoya. Shout out to Team Latoya. She's already out of jail, man. You know what Latoya is?
No, who's that?
Latoya is a 16-year-old who was in sex trap. Isn't it, Latoya?
I don't know, dude. I'm just
you know who it is?
I thought you were going to go with a joke
going.
somewhere.
Yeah. Anyways, so she was
Latoya Jackson.
Latoya Jackson.
Yeah.
She was in a sex trafficking ring or whatever, and the guy that bought her or something.
Wait, not the fucking Jackson.
No,
Michael Jackson's sister.
No.
Okay.
Well, it's Toya. I don't know.
It's racist.
Anyways. It was this girl, right? At 16, she went to jail for murdering the guy that bought her.
Right. I heard that. Yeah,
okay.
I saw that.
She's officially out already because they...
Oh, shit. I know who you're talking about. Don't know her name, though.
Yeah. Well, she's officially out. She was a part of that ring. And, I was always rooting for her, man. I was always because she murdered this old guy when she was 16 years old because he was having sex with her, or he bought her, and she was in...
Isn't it Cynthia Brown?
Yeah. There you go. Cynthia Brown. Oh, my bad. I don't know where I got it from.
Toya Jackson.
From, dude.
That's Michael Jackson's sister, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is Michael Jackson. Cynthia Brown.
Oh, yeah. She just said Cynthia or some shit.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know. Well, anyways, yeah.
She murdered her rapist or sexual assaulter.
Yeah. Sexual assaulter. But she was in sexual... She was... It's in the sexual, what's it called?
Cult? No, trafficking?
Trafficking rate.
Human trafficking.
She was in human trafficking, and that's how this guy got near her or something like that. And she went through it for a while, and then she just fucking murdered him. And at 16, she went to prison.
Damn.
16 years old.
How old is she now? How long ago was this?
It was a while. I think right now she's like 30 something.
How old is Cynthia Brown? Boom, 31.
She's 31.
Yeah. So she went to jail for 15 years.
15 years, dude. She's still young.
So how long? It's for the Epstein implications stuff. How long does it go back?
God only knows.
Some of his history, he was a mathematics teacher at a very prestigious New York school without even graduating college, under a dude that was doing some sort of weird experiment.
Oh yeah, he was a
kids.
teacher in
That's
a
like the
college.
earliest, yeah.
And he didn't even have a degree.
Yeah, it wasn't a college. It was a high school, but for like privileged,
like
a private school in New York or something like that.
Yeah, and he didn't even have a degree or any kind of education.
Anderson Cooper, his brother, went to that school, fucking committed suicide 10 years after graduating by jumping off of a 14-story home.
Yep.
A lot of people link it back to whatever the fuck happened back then.
A lot of like stars and stuff like that went to that school, right? A lot of
Anderson Cooper, his fucking brother, fucking bunch of names, dude. And so Jeffrey Epstein was a mathematics teacher at this very prestigious school without finishing college under this headmaster. His name escapes me right now, but if you look into this, you can learn.
Yeah, I
more
saw
about
that.
And the headmaster dude was like doing some weird experiments where like the younger crowd, I think, like the kindergartners.
He went to jail for something, right? Too. He got arrested or something.
No, he didn't get arrested. He's actually still a fucking headmaster at the I forgot the name of the school, and I just saw this video like a little bit ago, like on my way here.
Yeah,
and he's still a fucking headmaster right now. But they were conducting experiments, like these social experiments or whatever, where they would take like the kindergartners, first graders into the basement of the school.
Yeah,
and then a lot of the other teachers noticed that like they were very like self-conscious or whatever the fuck after the thing, and some people even referred to it as like a monstrous fucking experiment. So they don't really say what happened during those experiments, but they kind of allude to some shit. You know what I mean?
The fucking creeps, dude.
Bro,
there's some creepy shit out there, man.
So we're getting close to we said we were gonna make this a little bit short.
Yeah,
maybe let's do like maybe 10 more minutes.
Let's do like another 10 minutes or so. I wanted to
if you guys have any questions, start popping them off. Let's say if anything you want to ask or contribute, as we're gonna wrap this up in maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah, and another thing, if you guys want to really travel down a dark road, which is wild, there's this BBC documentary on YouTube about Boys Town, Ohio, where this whole thing kind of really gets brought to light, and it never aired on BBC, but it's essentially like a child trafficking ring of a town that was built specifically for orphans. Boys Town, Ohio.
Oh wow!
Fuck. Boys Town, Ohio. My God, let me look it up right now. BBC documentary. Let's see. Oh shit, it's gone, bro.
What?
It's not on YouTube anymore.
Really?
Nice.
Oh, there we go. I found it.
Jesus.
Yo, dude, you ever get that like fear that people who are putting this shit out, like
Chris Raines said that's a great documentary.
Yeah, it's called the Conspiracy of Silence. It's a BBC documentary.
Thanks for tuning in, Dago. It got to go.
All right, cool.
That's fucking cool. The Conspiracy of Silence.
Conspiracy of Silence.
And it's about the
Boys Town whole fucking child thing, and I think like even like ritual occultism and all this shit. And I'll post a link in the fucking comments, dude. It's all good.
There's a really good episode of the podcast Sword and Scale that talks about this.
Yeah. I was talking to Kevin about that earlier, and he had brought that up. They do like a 2-parter, right, or something like that.
Not sure.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. That's what Chris said.
Oh yeah.
Chris
cool.
Commented on here.
Chris, what's up, Chris?
Chris Raines. Yeah. Shit, man. So
the Clinton body count, dude.
Clinton body count. Man.
It starts back with like one of the lawyers that was investigating the whole Whitewater Rush scandal back when Bill Clinton was still.
I mean, they say that, but Monica Lewinsky stayed alive.
Yeah,
but that was a blowjob.
A good dick.
Yeah, this is sucking dick. It's not the same thing.
But he was didn't he? Isn't he like the second president to get impeached?
No, he didn't get impeached.
Oh no, he like resigned, or what is it called?
He resigned. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't.
No, he's the first president to get impeached. Nixon was going to be the first one, but he resigned.
Oh, that's
after the fucking Watergate scandal, which RussiaGate is at that level. Just so you guys know.
Oh shit.
Because we talked about this in the beginning, but The whole RussiaGate thing.
Wait, hold on. Clinton was impeached, or he went through the
I'm pretty
impeachment
sure
proceeding?
articles of impeachment were in
No, I think he was impeached.
Was he really?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I don't remember that.
Impeached. Let's find out right now because I'm not sure.
I know he didn't serve.
Yeah,
his
he
full
was
term.
impeached
Yeah, there you go.
December 19th of 1998 on the grounds of perjury to a grand jury by a 228 to 206 vote. And obstruction of justice by a 221 to 212 vote.
But that's a difference though. Is that like Lewinsky was kind of just
uncovering. Yeah, they were just impeach him because he got a blowjob.
Yeah, he was just
impeached him because he was like, I never had sexual relations with that.
Yeah. So it was like, because he was lying about getting his dick sucked. I mean, that's a completely different thing, dude. That versus a fucking major child sex trafficking ring.
And the whole thing in Arizona was back when he was the senator or the state rep there, whatever. It was essentially just running cocaine through Arizona, right? And then the whole movie where Tom Cruise comes out about him working for the CIA.
Oh yeah.
That
you ever get that like really weird
into
feeling like, what if it's like, oh, I go home right now or whatever. I'm on my way to an open mic after this, and I'm over there. My fucking car just blows up, or I lose control.
Speaking of blown up cars,
if that would happen, that's because you put your hair on a man bun and you don't have a man bun.
All right, dude.
That's the only way. That's the only reason someone would kill you.
Okay, dude.
Maybe.
But no, I'm saying like because this podcast has a lot of reach, dude. I don't know, man.
Maybe
saying like
long reach. Call me Mr. Fundamental.
What if at the next Fourth Dimension Fridays, one of us dies from poisoning from a conspiracy theory?
Dude, that'd be great publicity. Hopefully, it's you and not me.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, it's somebody else on the panel, dude. Why not me, dude?
Okay.
Nah, they go for the big guys. They go for the big characters here.
Yeah, like one of the hosts.
I'm big things, man. I'm a big character. Dude.
No, but in all realness, though, so like the lawyer, I think that was pursuing the whole thing with the Whitewater Rush scandal, which I'm gonna be super real here. It's very vague to me right now. I'm not brushed up on this 100%, but I think it was him that he committed suicide by shooting himself twice in the head.
Yeah, because that happens.
Yeah, he missed the first time.
Ow!
You fucking make sure.
You would think like missing the first time you'd be like, ow, that hurt. I don't think I want to do this.
The maid.
So Chelly was at the last one when we were talking about
True, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
dude, I tell you, I didn't know
that poor maid.
So just shout out to Johnny again, dude, because he was.
Y'all need to really make it out to the next fourth. Dude, it's gonna be fucking awesome.
So do we announce the fucking topic for the next?
Yeah,
one?
man, let's get the public prepared.
So
Roger, do the honors.
So guys, I'm taking the lead on the topic this time around, and I wanted to do.
It better not be aliens and romance, dude. I fucking swear to God.
No, it's actually going to be about cryptids. So
what's that?
Bigfoot.
Okay.
Bigfoot, Locky, Mothman.
Gnomes,
Chupacabra,
Gnomes. Hey, I got a fucking duende story. I'll bust it back out for that one.
Dude, me too, dude. I'm so fucking excited. So we're gonna be talking cryptids next time around, and the reason is
that's great.
The reason is that we don't have a. Do we have an idea for a panel yet? We don't, right?
No. So I reached out to Gonzi because he wanted to be on one. I'm waiting for him to confirm with me one more time just to be double sure. Gonzi, if you ever listen to this, text me or DM me, whatever.
I'm down to go on.
But yeah, we'll get back to you. Nah, sure. So the next one is Fourth Dimension Fridays at Cultura Beer Garden. Happy hour 8 to 9. Bring your tinfoil hats. Enjoy happy hour specials all night long. It's going to be Friday, September 6th. Again, come through at 8 p.m. Hang out with the panel, vibe out. We'll have some music going.
Have a couple
of
beers.
Talk some shit. Yeah, let's have a couple conspiracy theories. At 9 p.m., we're starting the podcast.
When is this?
Friday, September 6th. Cultura Beer Garden.
September 6th, okay.
Yeah. And from 9 to about 10:30, we're going for the podcast. The live performances will be held thereafter. We haven't gotten the acts lined up just yet, so we'll keep you guys updated on that.
And if you're interested in joining us for a panel, maybe or something like that, send us what DM your expertise is and all that kind of stuff. We do want to keep it as open as we can, but we also want to make sure that people we're putting on the panel have some experience on it. So,
dude.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought of? So there's this guy that is a writer here. I can't remember his name. It's James and then a white last name. Maybe.
No,
that's
a famous writer. He's
okay. But he writes books and shit. He used to be a Border Patrol agent, and he writes a lot of books on like local folklore and like fucking.
Oh, cool.
all that shit.
Oh shit! I know who you're talking about. He's sponsored on Static Age. I know who you're talking about.
Boom.
He made a whole thing. Yeah,
Right, yeah. So fuck, I'm gonna try to see if I can get him.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, because actually, who's really close to him?
I know he really
Gerardo Ochoa, who
maybe, but I know for sure for a fact the owner of OMCT, Organic Man, they're homies. They had him do like a couple of early
readings,
morning, like Saturday readings and shit.
Yeah,
there. So that was pretty cool. And he actually he lives like in an RV, does like a radio show out of it, like on AM and shit.
Definitely have him on the panel,
dude. 100%.
Don't wait.
Maybe we'll see the return of Rick Matamoto. So maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll save him for another one.
Yeah, we'll save him for another one because I do want to have some people like that are like deep into that stuff. So if you know anybody who's into like cryptids big time,
send us your resume.
Check it out. Yeah, send us your resume. Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because one of the things that I had mentioned to Josh when we were at Mile 1, we used to do the podcast over at Mile 1. One of the things that we had mentioned was that there were reports at some point on the Laredo Paranormal Society page that a lot of people had seen Mothman at the time.
Nah.
And I think that was around. There wasn't like a major like cataclysmic event, or maybe there was, and we don't know. But one of the things that happened around that time was the closing off of the border with when they did that whole when they had like the military effort kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that was it. But so like in case you're not aware of Mothman, was one of my favorite cryptids was that he is there's always a sighting of him days before
some
a cataclysmic event or something like that. So
some tragedy,
that happened.
Like in Point Pleasant, it was the fucking where they originally found him was the collapse of the bridge.
Whoa!
Did our periods just sync up?
Speaking of which, Lion de Leon, he's a buddy of mine. He's a truck driver in somewhere in Arizona. They told him not to stop at a certain rest area because there was like it was
some shit
haunted by a old native like shit or whatever. And he was like, whatever, I don't believe in it. And he said he parked there for the night right in this rest area, and there was no one. So it was just him, and he had to stop. He was like, I was tired, so I just stopped. And that he was asleep, and out of nowhere, like he felt like he was having a dream, and then he woke up, and then there was just a face in his window, and then he panicked. He's like, what the fuck? And then like I guess he blinked, and it wasn't there no more.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden he just heard like on the side of his trailers, and he just turned on his fucking trailer and left.
I would have grabbed my gat.
Oh, he rides with a gat. And but yeah, I mean, you don't.
That's wild.
I don't think he was thinking about, I'm gonna shoot this ghost.
Oh shit! So another thing that I wanted to bring up. Now we're kind of talking about hauntings.
Right.
Got a couple things to share. First of which, I was at the beach at a Airbnb that I rented with the homies, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. But we're planning a ghost hunting trip to the Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
Go fuck yourself.
In November. And are you going?
I'm down, dude. I'm down.
All right. So it's currently, this is the cast of people that is going. Myself.
And you guys are gonna do like a recording or something?
Yeah. We're gonna as we get closer to that time we're okay. So
okay, wait. When November?
I forgot the exact date.
What is it called?
8th, no?
Yeah, Yorktown Memorial Hospital. It's
Where's that at?
West Texas.
Yorktown.
West Texas.
Wow, I don't fucking know.
It's one of the most like haunted places apparently. In Texas.
And so our boy, the host of the Open Mic podcast, Nichols, he's actually been there already before, and he was like, we should all go. I want you guys to like check it out and see what the fuck is up. So it's myself, Roger.
Did he see what's up? Was there some weird shit?
He said like he didn't necessarily see anything, but there was a crazy vibe in the basement, and there was like blood from a murder that happened there like in the recent past.
Fuck yeah, I'm so not down, but I still want to go.
Does it have to be at nighttime? Can we do it in the daytime?
It's a fucking night.
Everybody knows the spookies happen at the night, man.
So just make sure you're subscribed to like our fucking social media where we
and you know what? Are we gonna be doing FOTF?
Yes, that's what I wanted to bring up.
So Fear on the Frontera was a thing that we did not keep up with last time, but we're gonna do this time. It was hard as fuck, but maybe we'll have, now that we have more
activity going on,
and we've got more I guess more time to kind of like spread this stuff out.
Yeah.
We're gonna start planning on recording spooky stories. If you have any real scary stories, or even if it's one that's like elegantly made or whatever. Because like there's some people who submitted some written stories last time. We'll produce them with some spooky music in the background and some like voice acting from us, and we'll go ahead and put that on there. And so I'm really excited to do that this time. I want to stick around with that for sure. We plan to make it one a day. Yeah, I think maybe
we're gonna re-release the first 7. I think that we already have.
Then that's perfect, dude. You want to play one, dude?
Right now?
Yeah, dude.
Not for everyone. Go to our YouTube channel.
Also coming soon, Aaron's Man Cave.
Boom.
What?
Man Cave.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, dude.
But
so
that's essentially the foreseeable future for right now.
Yeah, so those are the plans for AOTB, and we're also, you know what, guys? I am gonna ask you. Someone just said Leon de Leon. Right?
I got you guys. Yeah, that's the guy I was telling you about.
Look, DM whatever story that you have.
Whatever story.
I used to go on the road with him because I used to be a truck driver assistant, and he would tell me some fucking crazy, fucking scary ass stories.
Dude, my dad was a driver for the longest time, still is, and he has he has some of the best fucking stories.
Dude, okay, so Leon, send us your story. We'll produce it here. We'll even add some little sound effects and stuff like that. It was super fun doing it.
I heard one of them. They were pretty cool.
It was super fun doing it the last time. So we are planning on following through with that this time. So any of you guys who are watching right now, tell your friends, let them know, submit the stuff to.
You can post it on our page. You can post DM it, whatever you want.
Email it at aotb.cast@gmail.com. And we'll review it and we'll record it. And we'll let you know if we did choose it for the thing. So.
On the subject of the spoops, so this past weekend, my friends and I, we got an Airbnb in Port Aransas. Mm-hmm. There was flesh-eating bacteria everywhere, zombies everywhere. No, I'm just playing. So, dude, the Airbnb was literally like across the street and to the left from like a cemetery.
Yeah,
I was like, "There's fucking cemeteries on an island. Who fucking dies here?" And It was weird, man. Like, first night.
Who said that? Didn't Francisco have a story like that? Remember when we were on the road and he said that they went to go see a concert in Austin, but they stayed like 30 minutes away from Austin in this random ass fucking ghost town, and they stayed in a hotel, and they said that in the back door you open it, just a cemetery.
Fuck.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And they didn't know. Like it was at nighttime. They're like, I guess we're gonna stay here. And then that they were like, I wonder what's in the bag. Do you want to smoke a cigarette? And then it was just a fucking cemetery.
Just a bunch of headstones and shit.
Dude, it was crazy. And this was like in a ghost town where they stayed at because they said it was cheap. Of course, it's cheap.
100%. And so at this place that we stayed at.
Cool. Lion's going to send you guys some stories.
Thank you, dude. And don't text and drive, please. Be safe. And also, so we're there, right? First night comes through. The next day I wake up, and then one of my friends is like, dude, there's like a creepy vibe around here, and I don't know what. Yeah. So the layout of the house is like you walk in, and then it goes up a level, right? To like the it's not like a 2-story house or anything, but like there's like a couple of steps to go to the living room. There's a room immediately to, the kitchen's immediately to your right. But then a little bit further up, there's the first room where my friend was staying. Mm-hmm. Then the room after that where myself and my girlfriend were staying, and then the master bedroom where my homie and his girlfriend were staying. Then in the living room towards the back area, if you're gonna walk out, it takes a couple steps down. Yeah. And they had like some bunk beds there, and one of my homies was staying there. And so the girl that was staying in the room that was next to mine, she was like, it was a fucking creepy vibe. I couldn't sleep. I don't know what the fuck. And then my homie at the same time was like, yeah, some weird shit was going on. He fell asleep on the bottom bunk. Alan, catch him at Cap City Comedy, Fat and Racist. And so he's sleeping on the bottom bunk, and then he has his bags on the top bunk because Mikey decided to sleep on the couch. He's like, fuck that. And he hears like some rustling around, like if somebody's on top of the bunk, right? And he's like,
the bunk bed?
Oh, the bunk bed. Uh-huh. And he was like, what the fuck?
Fuck that, dude.
So he like kind of like looks, and there's nothing there, and he just like lays back down. And this is in the middle of the night, right?
Fuck that.
And then he starts hearing like footsteps like in the living room area, like walking back towards like wherever, like all the rooms and shit. And he's like, what the fuck? And I didn't hear anything. I fucking knocked out cold or whatever. I was fucking tired, and then also drunk. And the next day, the second night, that's where I fucking started to hear shit. Like we turned in fairly early because we were all pretty fucking like swifty. And myself and one of my homies, we stayed up watching like Restaurant Impossible or something like till 12 a.m. And it was a good episode. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking tired. I'm going to sleep. And boom, turned in. I was on my phone. My girlfriend was already asleep on the bed laying down, but I had turned like all the media down, right? Because I don't want to fucking wake her up. And I could hear like fucking people talking. And I was
in
like,
the other room, or
no, like in the living room area, somewhere over there.
Yeah,
I could hear like people talking, and then I just heard like footsteps, and I was like, "What the?" fuck?
And you saying
like,
there's a cemetery like right next to it?
So like if you walk out of the house, right, there's 2 houses here next to the house on this side. To the left, cemetery right there. Like,
oh shit!
Fucking like
So
you
I used
could
to
walk
say-
like right there.
The stuff that would go down at my place was always explained by Gabe, because Gabe was very into the whole like spiritual stuff. He would say before that that places that are built on like burial ground stuff, and this is actually something that Nichols had mentioned to me. Places that were built on burial ground places were kind of like a place that they called like the crossroads for spirits. So anywhere near cemeteries is like a hot zone, and also the Chacon area, which is where I live. The Chacon area was supposedly back in the day a place where there was like a lot of gang crime, where it was like people would go and just execute people there and bury them somewhere around there. So that was a big thing. But yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, the area you live in is fucking creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, for sure. And my house, dude, is creepy as shit. But it's cool as fuck inside. So anyway,
so I woke up the next day. I didn't really say anything because I was like, I don't know, maybe I was just tripping. Like maybe it was neighbors or something, right? And fucking funny side note. So our neighbors, they have like our house was pretty cool, but the house that they had rented was wild. They're fucking like 3 stories and shit. They had dope ass go karts in the front, like, beach buggies and shit with like giant Trump flags or like Trump 2020, no more bullshit, all this other shit. Just I was like, okay, cool. We walked out playing Mexican music on purpose, and then anyways, so. I wake up the next day. We're all having breakfast and shit, and my friend's girlfriend, who's staying in the master bedroom, she's like, "Yo, for fucking real, like I was hearing shit, like
yo,
fucking
for
footsteps."
fucking real?
No, like it's almost a pretty good impression of her. I hope you don't get mad at me for doing that. But so she was saying almost like the exact same thing. Like she didn't mention the voices or anything, but she did mention like she was hearing like footsteps and like just movement in general, like in the living room and shit, and. None of us were like.
Just imagine it wasn't like a spirit or anything. It was like one of the like another neighbor that just sneaked in, or someone that had the keys to the place,
somebody that lived in the
and just goes and just stands in the living room.
The garage was locked. We couldn't get in.
Side note, I'm like terrified of fucking bunk beds, dude, because I would always have this thing where it was my brother used when I used to live like in when I was a kid or whatever, and my brother and I stayed in the same room. He would take the top bunk, right? And there were times that I would wake up and he had like the sleepwalking sort of thing.
Fuck you.
And he would. There was one time, dude, he just straight up tried to like walk off the bed and just ate shit, and he woke up crying or whatever, right? There was another time, or it would happen multiple times, that I would hear him like, just like talking, like snoring. Like, and I would like, why does it sound like it's right near my ear? And I would look, and he'd be peering down and just like looking at me.
What
like,
the fuck?
Like sleep, so fuck all that. And the thing is that like now I'm kind of like I'm like terrified of bunk beds. So hearing that shit about the rustling on the top bunk, I would just keep my eyes closed. Like
that just reminded me of Annabelle Creation shit movie, but there's a part where they use like that fucking thing where she's staying on the bottom bunk, and like she's on the top bunk, and that was probably like the best scene. That was fucking gave me the creeps.
Yeah, that's creepy as fuck. Like no one's up there. What's up there?
All right, so let's get to the wrapping point, man. So
wrap cap.
First thing, Wednesday at the Rooftop Lounge. Aaron Suarez has you want to tell us about the showcase, man?
Yeah, Wednesday it's the Rooftop Comedy Showcase. It's the only showcase in Central Laredo, and it's on top of a fucking rooftop.
It's a nice spot.
It's a very nice. It's also very important. It's a free show.
Yes.
And I bring premium comics for it to be a free show. So yeah, I got George Anthony on that headlining. I got Cody Odell, which was bouncing back and forth from New York doing comedy. I got Robert Peralta as a Robert Peralta, who's a new and upcoming comic, very funny guy, and of course I'll be hosting it. So yeah, check it out. It's fucking fantastic.
Thursday I'll have the mic drop, of course. It's every Thursday. It happens at Cultura Beer Garden. We usually have a featured guest, musician that will come by and play during our sign up, which is from 9 to 10 p.m.
Franny got heckled.
This time is going to be Sector Fall, so go and check that out.
Shout out
and
to Josie.
Comedy starts at 10 on when is it on Friday? I'm going to be hosting an art talk, and not anything for comedy or anything like that. But we have Mauro Martinez, who's been on the podcast before. He's going to be coming by to talk a little bit about his process for a series that we're doing with Cultivarte called Meet the Artist. We've had Sandra Gonzalez already on, who's the one that did the El Abrazo mural on the Rialto Hotel. This time
cool.
it's going to be Mauro Martinez, who did the No Dejes de Soñar mural at the Outlet Mall, and he's going to be talking about that from like planning to execution. I'll be giving kind of like a brief intro to Cultivarte and to Mauro on that day, and that's Friday at Gallery 201 at 7 p.m. So make it out to that. You got anything to add,
Josh?
No.
Tune in Wednesday.
Oh yeah, tune in. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I know what you were about to say. Yeah,
tune in Wednesday.
Anyways, new episode coming out of Good Said, bro. George Anthony is gonna be on. Hopefully, if he makes it here on time, so I'll get him out there, and the episode will be out pretty soon, probably by Thursday, Friday.
So just so you guys know, Good Set Bro is Aaron's podcast.
Yeah,
go and follow that right now. That is also.
I think you shared this video on there.
Right. Yeah. Also part of this. Also part of the Aliens on the Border Network. His whole thing for Good Set Bro is talking about the talking to comedians who are visiting down here, kind of getting an insight of their local scene and what they think about our local
Not
scene
really.
and stuff like that. So
that's absolutely false.
What? I've heard it. Last time I was talking.
Yeah, but I just don't have comedians. I had a psychotherapist.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I had a psychotherapist. I just get interesting people. It's not really comedy based. Most of the times it is, because that's most of the people that I know. But yeah, I'm just gonna get interesting people that do different kinds of hustles and just talk to them, man. Just interesting dudes and dudettes.
And Wednesday night we'll be going live with Jay Snow from She Loves Us.
Right. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So no. So all right, guys.
Yes.
So thanks very much for tuning in. This has been. Are we calling this an episode? I mean, it got pretty close to an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're at 1 hour and 16. That's fine.
This is what, episode 106.
Yeah,
106.
Okay. So this is episode 106. Thanks very much for tuning in to Aliens on the Border. Follow Good Set Bro. Check out Laugh Laredo, because he's going to be doing all that stuff.
Go on my page, Aaron Suarez.
Aaron Suarez. He just posted a very funny video talking about Laredo, Texas after parties. Has been getting a lot of buzz. Check out the mic drop. Check out Cultivarte. Check out all that shit. And we'll see y'all next time.
Stay black, cocksuckers.
All right.
Yeah.